Well, welcome back. We are ready to dive into lesson 30. You were born to create. And what a good one this is. So, right away, we start off in the first paragraph. It says, remember always that a brother or sister is not someone who is above you, but who is your equal. So, that is Yeshua coming out and saying right out of the gate, like he's been saying throughout this entire book, I'm not above you. We are equal. And then he goes on to say, remember always that a friend is one who has chosen deliberately to see you in the perfection of the Christ and all that greatness that can be birthed through you until you are willing to see it yourself in such a light. And then he goes on to say, then that friends join you in a holy relationship to create, to play, and to extend the truth of reality. So, what a beautiful statement to start off this section from the beloved teacher, Yeshua. The next section is the difference between creating and making, and he spends quite a bit of time of talking about the differences between it. And he talks right out of the first paragraph, what is the difference between making and creating? Making requires the special efforts of the egoic mind. So remember, making is tied into the ego. Making involves planning on what one wants based on what one already knows. Got tongue-tied there for a minute. And then setting about a way to figure out a way to bring it into being according to one's own ideas. In the following paragraph, then he starts talking about creating. And he goes on to say, in creating, in the way that I'm using it in these terms is quite different. When I say to you that you were born to create, that you were created to create, I mean that being made in the Creator's image, your only function is to serve as a conduit through which the unfathomable mystery and beauty of love can be expressed in ways that can be seen in this world. So the only thing that we're doing when we are creating is we're being a conduit. What does that mean? We're letting it flow through us. We're just observing and we're letting this energy flow through us. In the next paragraph that starts off with, you're in the act of extending creation. He goes on to say, the second sentence, and choose only to do what you do in order to enjoy the presence of love and the offering of that love to whomever or whatever will receive it. That's the only thing that we're doing. In the next paragraph, creation then is the process in which the Creator extends himself or herself from the world of the formless into the world of form. He goes on to say, in the paragraph that starts off, in the making, the form becomes very important. Further on down in that paragraph, he says, therefore, the form of how things are done becomes very important. For form is image and not content, right? So that's when he's talking about making, right? In creation, the form is as you must most desire it to be because it gives you joy, not because you believe that it will coerce someone else into voting for your party. And he's using the example of trying to talk somebody into voting for something. A couple of paragraphs down, the paragraph that starts, the difference between making and creating is the difference between illusion and reality. Reality is a love that is God. It is the Creator's will to extend love. You were created out of the will of the Creator, and therefore you will express, your will to express love is the will of God. They are one and the same. Again, I'm going to say that, your will to express love. And that's all you eventually get to the point to where you want to do. You just want to express love. You want to let love flow through you, and you want to express that love, right? The next paragraph, or two paragraphs down, it starts off with, but in creation, the second or third sentence is, you are only interested in celebrating the reality that you are already in love, and you are already as the expression of love. And the next paragraph asks such a beautiful question. In your own life, do you exert energy in trying to make love happen, or do you celebrate that you are already in the presence of love? Such a classic question, right? It's kind of one of those that goes, oh, kind of missed that one, right? In the next paragraph that starts, for in the former, further on down in the paragraph, it says, creating love, that is, extending love, requires nothing but your will or your willingness. And then in the next, there's one sentence, the last sentence says, when you are in love, love will guide the expression of form, right? The next section is called Abiding as Love in Each Present Moment. And so the first paragraph is so beautiful when it talks about to be the one who receives love, acknowledges the presence of love, breathes love, and then allows it. So I don't know, but I marked down the steps in order. Receive it, acknowledge it, breathe it, and then allow it to flow through the body, mind, through the voice, through the handwritten word, through the wink of an eye, or whatever it is. Then you are done with it and you are on to the next moment. I love that the next paragraph starts off with this idea of the second sentence, for only in the present can love be felt, known, and extended. Such a mind is a creator. The next paragraph starts off with the mind then that is free from the egoic need to make, to control, to shape, is free from identification with the past and anxiety over the future, and it abides in the perfectly eternal now. So really what it's talking about is this idea of when we live in the present moments, that's all there is. Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, talks about this all the time. It's just you're in this moment right here, right now. You're not trying to go into the future. You're not trying to go backwards. You're in this present moment right here and right now. And then I think one of the most powerful sentences, honestly, in the entire book is the last sentence in that section. You are merely present in the moment and love lives you. And that, at first, when I read it, I thought that was wrong. I thought that was improper English, but it's not. Imagine, if you will, this idea that your only will, the only thing that you want to do is let love live you. In other words, you become the full conduit that I was mentioning earlier to allowing love to flow through you. So I actually put down an affirmation that I wrote down, and it said, love lives me. I'm now allowing love to live me, and love flows through me, right? In the next section, are you making or creating? The difference between making and creating is essential in the way of knowing. Therefore, I want to invite you in this lesson's message to begin to look at your own life. Where are you resting in the knowing and allowing creation to flow through you in each and every present moment? And where does your mind become absorbed in what you think that you must make occur? Come to discern the difference between the two and notice the quality of feeling that is within you when you are in each of these states. I would highly, highly suggest that you highlight this paragraph. From a practice standpoint, can you feel the difference between when you are creating and you're just letting it to flow, you're allowing it to flow, you're allowing it to flow, versus I have to make this happen? Energetically, you can feel it. One is more of a controlling, almost compulsive, like let me get my hands on it. The other one is just total relaxation and totally chill. He goes on to say in the following paragraph, and if you're diligent, you'll come to see that whenever you're in the mode of making love, making life conform to what you think it ought to be, you are in suffering. When you are creating, you are enjoying the miracle of creation itself. You can feel the difference. Further on down in the next paragraph that starts with celebrate then the embrace of the uniqueness, the very last sentence, if you do not understand that that is miraculous, then spend as much time as you need to alone without moving a muscle until you get it. So let me back up for a second. The beginning of that whole first paragraph goes, celebrate then and embrace the uniqueness of yourself as a son of God or daughter of God. You are one who gets to experience love, create love, and also observe and witness the flow of love. So in this way, this is the best way that I understand it. It's like I am just sitting back and observing what's happening around me and just allowing love to flow through me without trying to control it and just let it do what it does. And in that respect, then I'm just become the observer and allowing love to live me, right? Like I said earlier. A couple of paragraphs down, it goes on to say, it starts off with as a holy son of God, and then in the next sentence, as a holy son of God or daughter of God, the power of your ability, the power of your beingness to allow love to flow through you is unlimited forever. It's endless capacity once you start to practice it, and it'll never be taken away, ever, ever. In the next paragraph, it talks about those three aspects are really one thing. Anytime your mind has fallen under the power of the egoic mind, which is just to choose wrongly and insanely for a moment, the reality of your being never goes away. And then he starts to get into this language of using a healed mind, and I think it's really beautiful. Every single one of these sentences in the next few paragraphs that talks about the healed mind or the awakened mind, I've highlighted because I thought it was so powerful. The healed mind, the end of that paragraph starts, it says, the healed mind is one that accepts its true knowingness. And then it gives a quote. And then it goes on to say, the healed mind is simply one that rests in the simple reality. It has merely trained itself to always choose the voice for love. It doesn't matter what arises and passes away. The healed mind is not a mind that can make whatever it wants to happen. That is the egoic attempt to become absolutely powerful. The meek of heart, the pure of heart, realize that making is the illusion, being is the reality. The choice is yours, making, in parentheses, doing frantically, or creating, in parentheses, being in the presence of love. Further on in the next paragraph, the awakened mind is awakened to every ever-present flow of content pervading all form and all time. That is why for the awakened mind, loss is not possible and death is seen as unreal. The last sentence in that paragraph, love is the only thing that knows neither beginning nor end, being the fundamental energy of God itself. The next paragraph, the healed mind does not plan. And I think it's really important to hear this because sometimes people get tripped up on this. What does it mean? It does not mean that it does not structure a day. That is, make decisions whether it's going to make this phone call now and then that one later. So we still structure our day, but it does not plan on what the day shall be for. It merely surrenders into love and allows love to birth the day. I love that. Do you see the difference? And if you do, then great. If you don't, go back and read that again. There's a big difference. So, because some people say, well, how am I supposed to do this when I got a life, I got kids, I got bills to pay, I got a job. How can I not plan? That's not what this is saying. It's saying you still do that stuff, but but what you surrender is to what is the purpose of the day? What is love going to do with me today? And for me, the experience or the practice is showing up and just going, oh, cool. So I got all this stuff to do, but what's love going to do with me today? How is that going to show up today? And there's a huge difference. What is this day before? The egoic mind arises in the morning already believing it knows what this day is for, and this day can have no purpose but the sustaining of the authority of the ego and trying again to make the world conform to what the egoic mind believes must be so. The awakened mind knows that this day has no purpose, save that which the Creator would give it through the Christ mind, through the self. So it seeks first the kingdom and then all things added unto it. The day flows out of its surrender to love. The healed mind, the truly healed mind, is one who is like the wind. When you look upon the wind, you cannot tell from where it's coming, and you don't know where it's going. It's not a logical thing. You can't control it. You can see its effects. You can try to measure it. You might even try to predict it, but it will always leave you guessing. A healed mind is not interested in making. Its only interest is the delight and joy of creating. And then the very last couple of paragraphs in the last paragraph of that section, the healed mind is no longer attached to the world's definition of success or failure, for those pertain to the realm of the making. It is no longer attached to what others think of its creation, for it trusts the mystery that has birthed it, and it operates through it in each moment. Indeed, beloved friends, consider well, are you devoted to making or creating? I love it. The last section is the exercises to observe your choices and choose again. This is kind of a long section, so bear with me. In the first paragraph, right away, do you remember to begin it, as we've suggested many times, as one who knows that they are already Christ and they are merely sitting down to abide with a brother or a friend who is their equal and sees the truth of them. Do you remember to open the heart and trust that what emerges in the form of your experience as you read these words exactly what is perfect for you in this moment? Or do you sit down determined to make yourself like Jeshua by memorizing the words and by getting the concept, right? And that's what he's saying. You might not want to do that. The relaxed mind absorbs all knowledge. The making mind misses all knowledge. The relaxed and healed mind is like a sponge that is constantly learning and being shaped by what it learns. The making mind has no room in it to receive anything new because it has already decided what the truth is and what it should look like and what it should sound like. It misses the moment in which it can observe and be the conduit for, as well as the one who's creating an experience of love. Further on down the paragraph that says, likewise, if your mind is currently insisting that you cannot be that one in this moment, you are doing the very same thing. You are using infinite power of the mind to choose to remain a maker and therefore to reside in suffering. Then he goes on to ask the question, now ask within yourself, would I choose to experience that, or excuse me, would I choose to experience what is unending, myself as a creator or as a maker? If you choose the path of a creator, then the first thing you need to do is to remember that creating is not the same as making. Creating involves seeking first the kingdom of heaven. And then I love, he gives this example, which cracks me up. What does it mean? Well, it means that you have to sell all that you own, get a backpack and buy a ticket to Kathmandu and spend 17 years thinking in the Himalayan mountains until you find just the right cave. And then another 17 years of astute meditation and prayer before you begin to get to your first glimpse of God. That is what seeking the kingdom involves. This cracks me up. Or you can simply turn the mind to the peace of God, right where you are, and accept it. And in that very moment, you'll have gained what all the yogis in their caves have ever gained, what all the Buddhas and the Christs have achieved in their austerities. The kingdom is but a choice away. It's one choice away. You are that powerful. You can do this by making one choice. I choose now for the perfect peace of God. I choose now for the perfect peace of God. And just like that, you have achieved all that needs to be achieved. To create means that you're committed to seeking first the kingdom of heaven, then you're allowing yourself to celebrate that, regardless of what your physical eyes show you, regardless of how the brain mind is interpreting or creating perception of what the physical eyes are revealing to you. Regardless of all of that, you are free. For whatever is arising is perfectly harmless. Forms come and go, love remains. Where else can you possibly find freedom except as one who is merely abiding as a decision for love? If you would be a creator, you will need to give up striving, for striving is a part of the world of making. And you will need to give yourself permission to cultivate the mastery of allowing. Create the mastery of allowing. I highlighted this, I boldened it, big letters. Create, cultivate the mastery of allowing. Allowing is not passivity. Allowing is not sitting on your pillow waiting for the universe to manifest good things in your life. Allowing is an act of turning within, appreciating your oneness with God and simply asking, Mother, what would you like to create in this moment? What would you like to create? Suddenly a thought comes. A thought reveals you driving your car 35 miles to see a friend and inviting them to dinner. But here's the thing. When you ask, then we have to be slow. We have to slow down enough to listen and understand what you're doing is you're touching and starting to communicate with the divine. And the divine will communicate with you back as long as you slow down enough to listen. And so there's an exchange that's going on, but we don't know that. We don't understand it. We don't even think it's possible. But this actually teaches us, hey, you know what? If you ask, you'll receive, right? And that's what this is really talking about. Then in the next paragraph, allowing is a very powerful state of being, for allowing does not resist anything in the field of action, anything, doesn't resist it, absolutely does not. All you do, the last sentence in that part, it says, you merely make yourself available and you show up. right? A couple paragraphs down, the difference between making and creating is essential in the way of knowing. It would behoove you then to spend time merely abiding in the innocence of observing your life. No shame, blame, judgment, or guilt, observing only. Beginning to notice when your energy gets caught up with the making instead of creating. There's a few more affirmations. I give this over to the will of my Mother, Father, God. I wonder how I could simply surrender into the presence of the one who has accepted the kingdom. Right? And then I highlighted the affirmation, this day really belongs to God. I am just created to extend the Creator's will. Mother, Father, what would be a groovy way to hang out this day? I love this. And then I think the next 5 paragraphs, I have the whole thing highlighted. I don't think you want to hear me read every single word of it because it's long enough, but I'm just telling you, there's some beautiful things in there. I'm going to just share some of them. The mind of one who knows, this is a few paragraphs down, and rests in true creativity is merely present, witnessing the extraordinary mysterious ways of love. For love allows all things. Love embraces all things, trusts all things, and therefore transcends all things. Perfect peace can only exist where the mind has transcended all conflicted states of duality. Transcendence is not denial. It can come only through embracing, through allowing, through being present. Embracing, allowing, and be present. And when you can do that without any judgment, without getting stuck, without resisting it, then what do? We're embracing, we're allowing, and we're being present. That's some really good stuff right there. Your mind is a mind that has been healed. You don't need to heal it. You only need to accept the healing that has been accomplished by the grace of that love that birthed you to create it. That is what I meant when I have said a teacher of God need only accept the atonement for himself or herself. So just accept it. I'm already healed. I am already healed. I am already healed. Time to get on with it. All forms of healing then are merely context created by love through a mind that has accepted healing. A context created that would give the mind that perceives itself as an unhealed an opportunity to choose differently. I'm going to say that again because I went a little bit quickly there. I love this because it said that would give the mind that perceives itself as unhealed. We are perceiving ourselves as unhealed. An opportunity to choose differently. So choose differently. Choose to believe that you're already healed. I am 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 already healed. There's then a few things left. I invite you now into the context of healing. Say this within your holy mind. My mind has already been healed by the grace that birthed me in its image. I need only use the power of the Christ mind to choose the perfect peace of God. I do so now and forevermore. I am one who knows. Mother, Father, what would you create in this moment that is an extension of love? One final thought. It says, so beloved friends, merely observe the mind for a while until you learn to detect the difference between making and creating. You will come to discover that creating is much more fun, takes a lot less energy or effort, creates a whole lot more joy within your own experience, your own energetic field. So good. So good. I hope that was fun for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Next time, we're going to be talking about lesson 31, placing your trust and loyalty and love. God bless and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye now.